This video will provoke a lot of people. But before you stone me, listen first. As human, we tend to believe that for every effect, there must be a cause. A cause that is empirically verifiable, preferably. We tend to explain the cause or causes of occurrence or occurrences with either an explanation of magic, science, or miracle. These three phenomena used in explaining effects challenge our understanding of perceived reality. Let's begin with magic, a phenomenon that has captivated human imagination for centuries. Magic often relies on illusion, sleight of hand, or a misdirection to create an experience. Yet, beneath its mystic lies a masterful understanding of human perception and psychology. Magic enchants us by defying the law of nature. It challenges our logical mind by invoking a sense of childlike wonder. From the mysterious feats of ancient magicians to the modern-day marvel of illusionists, magic invites us to suspend our disbelief and embrace the unknown. With all these experiences that magic has to offer, it has one big problem, which is no magician can explain the process of a supernatural magic. If you ask them, how did you do that? The answer will be, I don't know, or I just did it. There is no explanation that can lead us to a conclusion whereby we can be sure that we understand the process. That is where science comes in. In contrast to magic, science seeks to unravel the mysteries of natural world through systematic observation, experimentation, and logical reasoning. It strives to demystify the phenomena that surround us, offering what scientists call the rational explanation grounded in empirical verifiability evidence. Science, as most of us know, has brought about groundbreaking discoveries and technological advancements. From understanding the fundamental law of nature that they call the fundamental law of physics, like Newton's law of gravitational pull and Einstein's E equals mc squared, to decoding the human genome. They claim to have expanded our understanding of the universe and paved the way for innovation that seems miraculous in the past. Is that true? There are instances where science and magic intersect. Take for example, the field of neuroscience, which investigates the inner workings of the human brain. It reveals how perception and cognitive biases can influence our experience of reality, shedding light on the mechanism behind magical illusion. There are situations where science and magic become very similar in their approach. Miracles, on the other hand, often evoke religious and supernatural connotations. They are seen as extraordinary events that defy natural law, attributing the divine intervention of cosmic forces beyond our comprehension. But are they truly inexplicable? Miracles hold deep personal significance for many individuals, providing solace, faith, and hope. However, a skeptic will argue that miracle can be interpreted through the lens of probability, randomness, or convergence of unlikely circumstances. If we decide to take a critical look at its possibilities, we can't but concur with the skeptics about its consistency. Nevertheless, can we deny its possibilities? Well, science is knocking. The clash between science and miracle is often centered around the question of evidence. Something like, if you've been to hell and back, you should be able to show me some ashes. While science demands empirical proof, miracles often rely on personal experience and religious faith, which can't really be trusted. I mean, just look around you and make the list of 100 closest people to you, and tell me how many of them you can truly trust when they claim they saw something. The tension between these perspectives spark debates about the nature of truth and belief. Science believes that there is or there must be an explanation for everything that has occurred and will occur. So they disprove any explanation from an idea of metaphysical being or divine being. Because when theology used the argument of God to explain occurrence, science sees it as a way of escaping the question of verification, just like magic and labor. Let's take the creation story for instance. Both science and religion seem to have an explanation of how the existence come to be. Science calls it the Big Bang Theory, while religion has different explanations from one religion to another. In the world of science, Earth formed about 4.5 billion years ago from a big cloud of dust and gas in space. The clouds start to come together and spin, eventually forming the sun in the center and the Earth as a clumps of material. Over time, these clumps grew bigger and collide with other clumps and become the Earth we know today. As Earth got larger, it heated up and formed different layers. Later on, there was a period when asteroids and comets hit Earth a lot, causing craters and hardened water to the surface of the Earth. Eventually, Earth cooled down and the water vapor in the air turned into ocean. And about the existence of man, they use arguments from evolution. Science believes that humans come from the family of ape, which they call Australopithecus afarensis, which evolved from a fish-like animal and when evolved gradually into Homo sapiens, which we know as human today. Scientists always use this in place of the creation story from religion, stating this as a matter of fact. Let's take the biblical account as a case study. God created the heaven and the earth in 7 days. The narration follows a sequence of occurrence from the creation of the planet itself to illuminating it to the separation of a dry land from oceans and its rivers to the creation of plants and all kinds of animals, both the ones that live in water and on land to the creation of human. Looking at both creation story, considering the precision of everything in the universe, from the precision of the gravity to the complexity of every single creature, from the non-living to the living, it presumes something, which is that there is an intellectual intention behind the formation of Earth. Why science seems to have used some of the most irrational explanation to explain the coming together of the planet Earth as a coincidence. I think that scientists are trying to avoid the explanation of the limitation of human knowledge to grab the existence of some things in nature. They don't want to believe that there is a being capable of creating something of this magnitude, making them adopting the coincidental explanation of the formation of the Earth, but refuse to show us this molecule that collide with experiments, and also on the evolution of man from fish to ape to man. If it is true, then there are not supposed to be any single fish in the ocean or no ape on land. They should have evolved into something else, human preferably. My second argument is the argument from the supernatural world. Most, if not all religions, believe in the supernatural world. That is, there is an unseen world that influences, dictates what happens in the physical world, and we can only come in contact with this world through some supernatural power, trance, or dream. There are people who can tell you what will happen in the next 3 weeks, 3 months, 7 years, 10 years, 12 years, 14 years, 21 years. How can science, in all their knowledge of nature, explain this? What mathematical calculation or scientific experiments can account for this? And if they can prove it, it implies one fact, that there is no coincidental law and order guiding this universe. Those laws are set in place by some entities, and the fact that we cannot see them does not mean they don't exist. However, before I dive into the third argument, I want us to know that science is a necessary evil, because if we fully rely on the supernatural and stay lazy, human will not be where we are today. My third instance is the argument from Rationality. I will start this by using render count arguments for existence of God, where he said cogito ergo sum, meaning I think, therefore I am. If you believe that you exist, and you are sure about that through your rationality, then we are left with 2 questions. The first one, how can a mistake lead to this precisely complex planet full of consciousness and advanced consciousness? And secondly, how do we explain rationality? Is that also a mistake? Just think about it. I understand the fact that there are occurrences in the planet Earth that appear so beautiful and ingenious, yet we can easily trace their cause with the advancements in rationality over time. But there is one thing that will be difficult to explain, unlike everything else. It is rationality. What explanation can you give to that? Science will say evolution. If that is how it works, then fish should have learned by now how to climb a tree. Or is human the only creature affected by evolution? Let's consider the non-empirical verifiability nature of God as the last instance. Science believes that 70% of the earth is water and 30% is land. Human occupies some part of this 30% of land, and we've only been able to explore about 5% of the ocean. If we've only been able to explore less than 40% of the world we claim we've been living in for millions of years, how can we say for sure that God is not somewhere in the remaining 60% that we've not explored? Just think about it. Also, when scientists make discovery that they can't explain, they use explanation of unverified number of years, mostly in their millions. Why the history of man, according to religion, from the conclusion from the passage of time, concluded that the universe was created less than 10,000 years ago or about 10,000 years ago. Now let me quickly mention some things that science cannot explain. Who put electric in hill? What jet engine powers eagle to those altitude? Even things like the pyramid of Egypt, science cannot explain it. Miracle and magic are very difficult to tear apart. Our conclusion on the title with which we address occurrence comes from our understanding of the entity of occurrence or discovery. If the person is a priest, then it's a miracle. But if the person is something else, we are most likely to call it magic or other terms related to magic. If the person claims to be a scientist, we call it experiment, even when the outcome is exactly the same. Science at times crafts some unbelievables that give us a similar experience with magic and miracle. Nevertheless, we can trace the effects to the cause, a cause that is empirically verifiably mostly. As we ponder on the boundaries of magic, science, and miracle, we must acknowledge the limitation of human knowledge. There are phenomena that elude our current understanding, leaving room for ongoing exploration and the potential for new discoveries that could reshape our understanding of reality. Despite the progress that we've made, there remain unanswered questions that lie at the intersection of magic, science, and miracle, such as, can the extraordinary become ordinary through scientific explanation? I will say no. Are there phenomena that transcend our current scientific understanding? That is a yes. As such, science should stop presenting us with myths as a matter of fact. Magic, science, and miracle remind us that there is still much to be discovered. However, God is not one of those. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. If you've watched this far, my name is Ola Epokwola. Subscribe to this channel. I'll see you in the next episode. This, we have 150 million views. Do you want to watch it? Amen. Let's go.